Okay, welcome to our second podcast. This is Mrs. Britton's 5th grade students from Sublimity, and we're having a conversation about the movie and the book Where the Red Fern Grows. Our first conversation, when the kids went around and were ranking the movie and the book, we noticed that there was an extreme difference for some students between what they thought of the movie and the book, so we wanted to explore that a little further. So to begin with, I'm going to have the students that are sitting around here introduce themselves and tell us one thing about themselves.
My name's Isabel, and I like soccer.
My name's Justin, and I like pie.
My name is Bailey, and I like basketball.
My name's Owen, and I like bacon.
My name is Brendan, and I like baseball.
My name's Jonathan, and I like TV.
My name's Cassidy, and I like volleyball.
Okay, so I'm going to just go around the table really fast, and you're going to say did not like it or like it, and we're talking about the movie, okay? So we're going to start right here.
I didn't like the movie.
How about you, Justin?
I didn't like the movie.
I liked the movie.
Bailey liked the movie. How about you, Owen?
Don't like the movie.
Brendan?
I liked the movie.
You liked the movie, okay?
I didn't like the movie.
Did not like the movie.
Did not like the movie.
Okay, so at this table, it looks like we have 2 that did not like it and 2 that liked it. So can you tell 2 that did not? I messed up. 2 that did not like the movie, and then how many do we have that liked it? Did you count for me? We're counting. Just a second here. How many?
2 that liked it and 4 that.
2 that liked the movie and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that liked it. Okay. So that's the beauty of live broadcast. We just go with it even when we have a mistake. So we have 2 that liked the movie, and we have 5 that did not like the movie.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're clarifying. Thank you. Okay, by the students' faces, I could tell that I had made a mistake, so we had to fix that and clarify it. Okay, so moving on, the people that liked the movie, that would be you 2, right, Brendan and Bailey.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us why you liked it? What was so good about what was good about it?
Well, it wasn't terrible, but it messed some things up, but it wasn't terrible. It was like a regular movie.
It was a regular movie. What was good about it?
Well, it showed like some of the main parts, but not all of them. Like when they went hunting with the ghost coon, and then Ruben's death, and when he got his dog. And then it didn't show some, but I liked it still.
Okay. So then those of you who weren't too impressed with the movie, can you guys give me some ideas of why you weren't real impressed with it? So Jonathan, why didn't you like the movie?
I didn't like the movie because after reading the book, I don't think that it followed the book at all.
Okay.
It was based off the book. It didn't follow it.
You didn't think it followed the storyline well. What about you, Owen? Why did you not like the movie so much?
I didn't like the movie because, yeah, it did put in some of the parts, but when they put in some of, like, the big parts, they left out some of the big parts. When they put in some of the big parts, they kind of tweaked them a little, and so, yeah.
Okay. Justin?
They missed a lot of important parts, and even the ones that they did put in, they're changed a little bit.
When you said important parts, I was kind of that same opinion, but I'm curious, give me an example of something that you think was an important part.
Like when Billy won the Gold Cup, he didn't even win it in the movie, and one guy won it and gave it to him.
Okay, so yeah, in the movie, they didn't even show that he actually won the contest, okay? Yeah, this is going to be a spoiler alert because we are talking about a movie and a book, so we suggest that you don't listen unless you want to kind of know about what happens already. So Cassidy, why did you think the movie was so great?
Because they left out so many parts, and it wasn't anything like the book.
Okay, so you didn't think the movie was so great. I'm sorry, you messed up on that. So you think they left out some important parts too. So give me an important part you thought they left out.
Little Ann drowning.
Little Ann drowning. Okay, so they left that part out. Yes.
I didn't like it because like they changed people's like characters. Like Billy, he was like snotty and not nice and stuff.
Okay. So those of you who liked the movie, those 2 sitting here, Bailey, you're one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If the author lived to see that movie, what do you think he would think of it? Because you rated it really high. So what do you think the author of the book Where the Red Fern Grows, Wilson Walls, what do you think he would think of that movie? What are your thoughts, Brendan?
I think he would really hate it because it didn't match the book like at all, but it was still a good movie.
Okay, so you're saying that you think he would have hated it, but you just still think it's an entertaining movie. Okay, what about you?
He'd probably think it was terrible because it didn't go on. It had some parts in the book, but barely any. But it's still a really good movie, but it just left out some really important parts.
Okay, so I have some more questions, but I think I'll save them for another group. So if you guys can quietly file back, and I need hands up of kids who thought the movie was pretty awesome, meaning on a scale of 1 to 10, you rated it at least a 7 or higher. So you are thinking the movie is pretty cool. So we're going to have Nicholas come on down. Don't, just raise your hand, please. And come on over, Eli, after Owen moves out of your way.
Right here.
And I need to save a couple hands for next time. Now I need some people who think that you need to scoot over here so nobody has to climb over you. I'm going to now be calling down to the table, over to the table, some 5th graders who thought that the movie was pretty, not very good. Okay, so you're not impressed with the movie. Okay, so I'm going to have Presley and Bailey, Miley, sorry, Bailey. And I'm going to have this whole, let's see, Mary, not you. You 2 girls. I think that's going to fill in my table. Shh. Kayla, you can join us also. All right, so now the table is filling up with some more 5th grade students. They're going to go around the table and introduce themselves really fast. Right here.
My name is Elijah Howard. I like wrestling.
My name is Presley, and I like to swim.
My name's Charlie, and I like to hang out with my friends. My name is Miley, and I like to play basketball.
My name's Kayla, and I like to read.
My name is Mary. My name is Mary, and I like softball.
My name's Nick. I like frogs.
Okay, so really fast, raise your hand if you did not like the movie, just so I can get an idea. Okay, when I point to you, say your name.
Mary.
Kayla.
Miley. Charlie. Presley.
Okay, and when I ask you to say your name, remember you need to talk towards the microphone so it can pick you up well. Okay, so you guys did not like the movie, so raise your hand if you liked the movie. Okay, say your name.
Nicholas.
Eli.
Okay, Nicholas, a little louder next time. Okay, so what I'm wondering now, I'm going to ask you one of the same questions I asked them. If I'm just going to go around the table. You think about this before it comes to you, but I'm going to start with Nicholas, so you're going to be on the spot faster, okay? So my first question for you is, if Wilson Rawls watched that movie, the author of Where the Red Fern Grows, what do you think he would have thought about that movie?
He wouldn't have liked it.
A little louder from the microphone.
He wouldn't have liked it
Why?
because it didn't have all the parts in the book.
Okay, and I want to remind you guys when you're talking to lean in towards the microphone so it picks you up well, okay? Okay, Mary, what do you think?
I don't think he would have liked it because it wasn't the real story, but it had some details in it that was correct, but some that were wrong.
Okay, and as we go around the table, somebody might say something that you were thinking. It's okay to say the same thing because then we see that we're agreeing with each other, okay? So go ahead.
I don't think he would have liked it because it left a lot of important details out.
Oh, so Kayla was saying that. Okay, thank you, Kayla. And Miley.
I don't think he would have liked it because it didn't have that many details as it did in the book.
Okay, so it left out some details. Charlie, what about you?
He probably wouldn't have liked it because there were too many things that they left out of the book or
Okay.
out of the movie. I don't think he would have liked it because it didn't follow the book that well.
Okay, yes.
I don't think he would have liked it because Billy, he tripped Reuben, so he died,
All right.
and that didn't really happen in the book.
Okay, so now here's the thing. Those of you who think the movie was pretty good, try to persuade the rest of us around the table why it's such a good movie.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say to both of you two right here,
Mm.
okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving that movie like a 0.
Oh.
So tell me why I'm wrong.
Okay. You are wrong because me personally, I like old school movies, and they're like classic. They have all those good actors.
Okay, because it's old school.
Yeah.
I like it because it it's a good movie. It's just it didn't leave in it took out some of the parts in the book.
Okay. So those of you around the table who are of the opinion that it wasn't such a great movie, tell me why it wasn't such a great movie. You kind of did, but add to it. So what? Okay, who gave it a really low score? Like, what would you give it on a 1 to 10, Mary? A 0? Okay, why? What makes it a 0?
Because the book was made first, but then they got permission to make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But when they made the movie, it was bad compared to the book.
Okay. Anybody else want to add why they just weren't impressed with the movie? So somebody said, this was the best movie of all time. What would you say to them? You'd say, yeah, it is. It's a great movie. Go watch that. Right? So what would be some reasons you would give them why you think it's not such a great movie? Presley.
It's because it left out a lot of big parts like the gold cup and the silver cup.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to add why? Kayla, do you have anything?
It left out the beauty pageant and Sammy the cat.
Okay, Miley.
They left out Sammy the cat.
Charlie.
They left out Sammy the cat and the beauty pageant and the gold and silver cups.
Okay, good. All right, you guys can head on back to your seats. Now, I would like you to raise your hand. We're going to have some more 5th graders join us. And again, I want hands up if you thought the movie was pretty good. That's what I want to see. Thought it was pretty good. So, Jalen, come on back. And Caleb, come on back. I need to save a few. There's not as many 5th graders that think that it was a good movie, so I have to save them for the next group. If you haven't been back to the table and you think it was a pretty bad movie, raise your hand. Okay, the rest of you over here that haven't had a turn to come on down. How about in this middle row? Have I seen everybody? Okay, so then I'll take Evan and Peyton, and I'll take Noah, can you squeeze in here too, please? All right, so coming over to the table, we have a few more 5th graders joining us, and Noah, you could probably just squeeze in down there on the end. We're going to go around the table and say our name really fast, so we're going to start right here. Remember, the microphone's over here, so when you're talking, lean towards it and project your voice. Go ahead.
I'm Jalen.
And I like?
And I like to ride dirt bikes.
Okay.
I'm Caleb, and I like to ride 4-wheelers, and I like to hunt.
Okay.
I'm Carter, and I like shoes.
I'm Ethan, I like soccer.
I'm Noah, and I like apple pie.
I'm Mara, and I like volleyball.
I'm Peyton, and I like baseball.
I'm Evan, and I like food.
Food. That's great. Thank you for that. Those are very interesting facts about you guys. Okay, so raise your hand, and then I'm going to have you say your name so that, because obviously nobody can see your hand over the airwaves. Raise your hand if you thought that it was a pretty good movie. So I see that I have Caleb and Jalen with their hands up. Okay, so let's ask you guys, why was it a pretty good movie?
Well, I didn't see the whole thing because I had to leave. But for what I saw, it was pretty good.
Okay.
It's just an entertaining, good movie. I liked it because it was entertaining and an old, good movie.
Okay. Does anybody around the table, and this time I'm going to have you raise your hand, and I'll have you say your name when I point to you, and then you'll give the answer. So does anybody around the table want to tell me why they weren't really impressed with the movie? Why were you not impressed with the movie? Say your name first.
Carter. Little Ann in the movie got a silver cup for best looking dog, but in the movie she didn't get a silver cup.
Okay.
Billy, in the book he won the gold cup, but in the movie he didn't.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Billy in the book. Oh, Noah. Billy in the book didn't trip Ruben, but in the movie he did.
Okay. Yes.
And then they left out loads of details in the movie.
Okay. Loads of details.
Mara, and in the book, Billy won the gold cup, but in the movie, he did it. It was given to him.
Okay. Yes.
Peyton and
they added a lot of stuff, like Billy did not win it, but he got it because somebody gave it to him. And then the dogs and Sammy wasn't in there, and they took out a bunch of the good stuff and they put in bad stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about a conversation I've had with people sometimes, because I use this book in class sometimes, and I bump into people, and maybe this topic comes up, and I say something about Where the Red Fern Grows, and I'm talking about the book, and I'll have a grown-up or a kid who's never read the book say, oh, that is a wonderful movie. So I want to know what your thoughts are if somebody's only thoughts about this story is the movie. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they say, oh, that's a wonderful movie, and I usually say something like, no, it's not. Well, actually, I say, have you read the book? And if they say no, and I say, well, it's not a wonderful movie, why would I say that? Why would I say that? Yes? And this is Jalen.
Yeah, because if you haven't read the book, then you probably wouldn't know. Then you wouldn't know that the movie changed some things. But if you haven't read the book, it's still a good movie.
Okay.
But if you haven't read it, then it changes everything.
Yes?
So if you read the movie,
I read the movie.
if
That's
you,
something I would do. Yes. Okay,
if you
Peyton.
watched the movie and you thought it was a really good movie, the book came out first, so you would want to read the book and then watch the movie. So that's what we did, and then we compared the bad things to good things, and by far the book is better than the movie.
So I'll tell you what happened with me. I actually saw the movie, and I hadn't read the book. And then years later, I read the book, and I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I now don't think that's such a good movie. So, and here's what I was thinking, and I'm just going to ask you a few questions. If you never read the book and you only saw the movie, what would you not know about Old Dan and Little Ann? Those are the two dog characters in there. Give me an example of something you probably wouldn't know about them if you never, ever read the book. Yes.
They're siblings.
Okay. I think the movie showed that they were siblings, but that was a good guess. Yes?
That Old Dan and Little Ann would not go hunting with each other unless the other dog was there with them hunting with Billy.
Okay. I'm not sure if they mentioned that part or not in the movie. There's a few things I'm specifically thinking of. Yes, Caleb.
They didn't show in the movie Old Dan taking a biscuit to Little Ann.
Okay, so how close they were.
Yeah.
The movie didn't develop that fully. There's something else. Okay, so let me just back up. Think about the book for a minute. Tell me about Little Ann. The character Little Ann. Tell me about her. What do you guys know about the character of Little Ann? Let's do it that way. Carter.
She was really smart.
She's really smart. Did the movie show you anything that would show you she was really smart? Think about that. Okay, I'll give you an example. There was a scene in the book with a ghost coon. In the book, who found the ghost coon?
Old Dan.
In the book, who found the ghost coon? It wasn't Old Dan. So most of you are saying the right answer, but for the listening audience, I want to make sure we are saying the correct answer. Who found the ghost coon? Little Ann. And she found it because she's very
Smart.
Okay. In the movie, who found the ghost coon?
Old Dan.
Oh.
Think about the movie. Think.
Old Dan.
Billy.
You're right. Who found the ghost coon in the movie?
Billy.
Billy. Right? How did he find him?
He climbed up the.
Yeah. Okay. And there were other scenes in the movie that showed Little Ann to be smart multiple times. None of those made it to the movie. Okay. Now describe Old Dan for me. From the book. What do we know about Old Dan?
He is strong.
He's strong. What else about him?
He wasn't as smart as all the other dogs.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to add to that, Ethan?
He does before he thinks.
He does before he thinks. Did any of those things make it into the movie?
No.
So if you watched the movie and never read the book, would you know that Old Dan gets him Would you know that Old Dan gets himself into trouble? Would you know that Old Dan tends to act before he thinks?
Yeah.
Would you know that about him in the movie? Okay. Would you know how he just never gives up? Is that in the movie very much? They mention it a little, but not so much. To me, that's kind of a big deal. Okay, now let's talk about Billy. this is what put me, actually, I don't want to talk to you guys about Billy. I want the next group. So now you guys can leave me. So say goodbye. Okay, if you haven't been back to the table, come on back.
Bye.
Those of you moving are doing so quietly for me. And the rest of you remember that while we're live, your job is to be quiet. So you guys are going to jump in the middle of this conversation I was having, but before we get there, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. And if you haven't been back to the table, come on back. Remind me that I'm going to be asking you guys about the character of Billy, okay? But first I'm going to go around the table. When I point to you, the microphone's over here, so make sure you lean into it, and you're going to say your name, something about yourself, okay? And then you need to lean back and let somebody else lean in, okay? Okay, so go ahead.
I'm Nolan Large, and I like farming and food.
Okay, and I want to remind you guys not to put your hands over your mouths when you're talking because the microphone won't pick you up as well.
I'm Ryan, and I like animals.
I'm Donna. I like football.
I'm Connor, and I like hunting and fishing.
I'm Tanner, and I like baseball.
Okay, so you're going to need to be closer, Tanner, when you're talking, so you'll need to lean in. You can probably turn that chair around to have a seat. Okay, so go ahead.
I'm Guyana. I speak English.
You're Gael, and you like what?
Speak English.
Okay, so you speak more than one language, is what, and so you're talking about how you like speaking English. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm Owen S. and I like baseball.
Okay.
I'm Olivia, and I like playing soccer.
Okay, so before we jump into where I was in the conversation, I just want to really fast. I'm going to go around the table, and you tell me if you liked it or did not like the movie. I'm asking about the movie. So liked it or didn't like it?
Didn't like it.
Okay, a little louder to hear, please.
I didn't like it.
So Nolan says didn't like it. What about Ryan?
I didn't like it.
Donnie?
I like it.
Connor?
I didn't like it.
Tanner?
I liked it.
Gael?
50-50.
So?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Didn't like it?
It was terrible.
It was terrible. Okay. So we have a little bit of a mixed group here. So my question for you guys is, first of all, I just want to know, those of you who liked it, why did you like it? I really want to know, those of you who thought it was a good movie, why do you say it's a good movie? So raise your hand if you said it was a pretty good movie. Okay, Tanner, why is it a good movie? A little closer and louder, please.
I think it's a good movie because it didn't quite go on and on and on about the same things.
Okay.
And I think the book did that a little too much.
All right, that's good. Okay, who else? Gael, you said 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's so.
So I got like half right, half wrong.
Okay, right here. So what'd you think was good about it?
Well, the movie got some parts right and some parts wrong.
Okay. Okay. Who else liked the movie? Donnie, why'd you like the movie?
It has some parts in the book.
Oh, it had some parts from the book.
And like the action in it.
You like the action. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to ask you one of the same questions I asked another group. If you were talking to somebody and they have never in their life read the book, can you mention Where the Red Fern Grows? And they say, oh, that's a good movie. And then you say to them, have you, they say, that's a good movie, that's such a great story. And then you say to them, have you read the book? And they say, no, but it's such a good story. What would your thoughts be about that?
I feel bad for them.
You'd feel bad for them? How come, Gael?
Because they got everything basically wrong, like half right, half wrong, like you said.
Oh, I like that. Anybody else want to add to that? So you'd just say, oh, yeah, it was a great story, and just leave it at that? You agree with them? Okay, so what would you say? Okay, Tanner?
I would say that the movie, if you watched it, missed a few too many details, but it's still pretty good.
Okay.
Even though it missed some details.
Nolan, what would you say?
They're missing a really good story.
So Nolan would say they're missing a really good story? How about you? What do you think?
They should read the book because it has like everything more, like it has like a better story than the movie.
Okay, so let's pretend you're the author of this book. Okay, you wrote this story. You know how it is, word for word. That was your story. And you show up to the Hollywood screening of this movie and you're watching it. What's going to be your reaction at the end of the movie? Are you going to be like, yes, they did such a good job. I just love this movie. How do you think you would react? If that was your story and that's what they did with it, how would you feel about that? I'm going to go around the table for this one. So what do you think? Say your name and then what you think.
Nolan, and I don't know why I gave this movie to them.
Okay. I don't know why I gave this movie to them, this story to them. Okay.
Ryan, and I think if
I gave them permission to write a movie, and I'd probably be pretty mad because they messed the whole book up. So
Okay.
I'm Donald, and they messed the book up. I'd be mad and said we do it.
Okay.
I think I'd be pretty mad. And like Tanner said it with the details, I think that the movie missed a lot of details and they should have put more details in there.
Okay, Tanner?
I probably wouldn't be very happy because they missed some pretty key details and they took some things and like changed them a whole bunch, so I'd probably tell them they need to redo it.
Okay, Gael, what do you think?
I wouldn't be happy, and I would say this is a ripoff and take the story back.
You'd take it back if you could? Yes?
I'm Owen, and I'd probably tell them to start over and think of a whole new storyboard.
Just think of a whole new story. Okay?
Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't let them. I'd have the movie remade, but I wouldn't even let them remake the movie. I had somebody else remake the movie because they did such a horrible job.
Okay. So we're in agreement that they departed from the book and the story. How many of you think the story in the book is way better? Just say yes, I do if you do.
I do.
Yeah? Okay. Anybody think the movie's way better than the book at this table?
50-50.
So you like the movie better than the book?
No,
That was my question. So did you like the movie better than the book?
No.
Okay. So here's my question for you. If you never, ever, ever read the book and you just watched the movie, what are some things that you would not know about Billy? Connor.
In the movie, Billy is selfish, and in the book, he is not selfish. All the money he earns from the coonskin hides, he gives to his dad and mom.
Okay, I would agree with you. One of the things I was impressed with the character of Billy is I would say he was in the book the opposite of selfish. He was very selfless. He was very selfless, right? And so they showed him to be kind of selfish in the movie. So not only did they leave out the things that he did to show that he was unselfish, but they showed him to be selfish. I would agree with that. Ryan.
Like you and Connor said, in the movie, he's a pretty selfish guy and he picks fights with people. And
in the book, is he kind of like that? Does he start fights easily?
No.
So give me an example of how did the book show us that he doesn't want to fight with people?
Like when he was at the school grounds, one of the guys pulled his dog's ear, and he said, "Hey, back off!" And the guy shoved him, and then they started fighting.
Okay,
well,
so
the other
before,
guy mostly started
are you talking about the
fighting with
movie
him.
or are you talking about the book?
In the book.
Okay, so in the book before the fight started, something else happened before the dog's ear got pulled. That showed that Billy does not want to fight at all. You guys remember?
Yeah.
Yeah? Say your name.
I'm Olivia, and Billy started walking with his dogs, and a kid stepped on his foot, and it started bleeding, but he didn't.
Did he just step on his foot?
He like squished it and smashed
He
it.
stomped on it.
Okay, who wants to add to that detail? Because I think that's an important detail. There's a big difference between somebody stepping on my foot and what happened to Billy's foot. What happened to Billy's foot, Nolan?
my name's Nolan, and the kid that stepped on his foot, there was a bent nail in his foot.
No, that's not correct, but that's a good guess. And I think we also need to talk about Billy's feet, too, because that plays into it. Ryan.
He wasn't wearing shoes, so he was in
So Billy's barefoot.
Yeah, and the guy, I think he had boots on.
Yes.
And he stomped on his foot as hard as he can, and his foot started bleeding pretty bad.
And we know that it was a bad stomp because it gave us another descriptor.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if anybody remembers that detail. Connor, do you remember?
Yeah.
Donnie, lean back while Connor's leaning in the microphone, please.
The guy, he didn't stomp on his foot, he stomped on his big toe.
Thank you.
And it smashed his toenail, and it cracked his toenail, and that's what
Yeah.
started.
So it wasn't just because I've had my foot stepped on, right? And never before has my toenail broken when somebody stepped on my foot. So this was a stomp with a boot on a bare foot on purpose, and it broke his big toenail. And what was, I'm going to come back over here, what was Billy's reaction to that?
He kept on walking it and ignored it.
Okay, so right there, does that kind of show us that he doesn't want to fight, even when people are making trouble? Okay, so that would be another example. Was there anything else about the character of Billy? There's one more, there's a bunch, but there's one more that really jumps out at me, that they really, nobody would know about Billy if they just saw the movie and they didn't read the book. What are you thinking, Tanner? And lean in. And I want to remind my studio audience right now, your job is to listen and be quiet, or you can use your Chromebooks, but you need to be working quietly, please. Okay, Tanner?
I think something they got wrong about Billy was that he doesn't seem to work extremely hard as he can in the movie, and he does that in the book a lot.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think they showed him to be as hard of a worker either. Okay, yeah, there was a few scenes that did that. There was something else that they showed about Billy that really kind of bothered me. It was towards the end. I'm going to give you a hint, and it has to do with sportsmanship.
Oh.
Gael, lean into the microphone. What do you think? And then you guys listen, because I'm going to have you add to it if you want to. Go ahead.
In the book, Billy won, but in the movie, he lost, and the person who won gave him the trophy with the money.
Okay, so that's the part I'm thinking of. Let's add some details to that has to do with sportsmanship. Connor.
The guy that won, he said I already have 3 or 4 cups already from championship coon hunts and stuff. So here you go. I think you are the best hunter that anybody in this hunt.
Okay, so spoiler alert, I'm just going to explain. In the book, Old Dan and Little Ann stay out in a blizzard.
Yeah, they only shoot.
With a raccoon, and they end up winning the contest because of that. Okay? And that kind of also shows their character and how they don't give up. And in the movie, it shows that never happened. And so the other guy wins the contest. And then the other guy says, some people say Billy would have won if he would have gotten those coons that were out of that tree, but we'll never know. And I don't want to win this on just a maybe, so I'm just going to give this trophy to this guy over here. Okay, so that's kind of the big difference. It's a huge difference. And to me, that was kind of upsetting. But I'm thinking more, and this is hard because you've only seen the movie once and I've seen it a bunch of times. So in the movie, Billy loses, okay? And they're getting ready to give out the trophy. And I don't know if you remember this scene or not, because you've only seen it once and I've seen it a bunch. But just before they give out the trophy, does anybody remember how Billy's acting? Tanner, what do you remember?
So I've seen the movie a few times, so I've had time to notice this. But Billy, when he knows that the person that won it already has more coons than he did, he just walked away from the championship ceremony and went back to their wagon and started doing other things. Whereas in the book, he probably, if that would have happened.
Okay, we're not going to go there yet. We're just focusing on what did happen. But you're going to where I'm going in a second. Yes.
Billy was pouting, and he was back at the at the buggy, and he was already tightening things up, getting ready to go.
So in the movie, Billy loses. And he goes off and he's pouting, and he's not going to even be there when they pass out the trophy. Okay, I think Grandpa talks him into going, but he's not going to even be there when they give out. He's not going to even be there when they give out the trophy, and he's pouting. Now I have a question for you, and Tanner kind of was already thinking along those lines. Knowing the character of Billy from the book, let's pretend he didn't win. Think about the character of Billy in the book. If Billy gave it everything he had, and somebody else beat him fair and square, how would Billy in the book react to that? Would he go off and pout? So I'm going to go around the table. You tell me what you think you would do. So think about it, okay? And it might be the same as somebody else, and that's okay. And then we'll just know that we're all agreeing with each other if that's the case. So I'm going to start this way. Say your name and then what you think Billy would do. Just knowing you're an expert on the character Billy from the book. So how would the character of Billy from the book react if he gave it his best and somebody else gave it their best and they won? How would he respond?
I'm Olivia, and he would celebrate that somebody else had won the cup and congratulate them, and also praise his dogs and tell them good job.
Okay. What do you think, Owen? Oh, yeah, say your name. Sorry.
Owen. And yeah, like what Olivia said, he'd congratulate them because he's just that kind of guy, and yeah.
Okay. Gael?
I'm Gael, and probably celebrate and say good job. We did our best, and you did too.
Okay.
I think. Okay, Tanner. I think that Billy in the book probably would have stayed there and listened to see who won, even though he already knows. But he would have went up and shook the man's hand and told him congratulations and that he has really good dogs.
If he didn't win, I'm Connor. If Billy didn't win, he would still go up to the ceremony part and shake the man's hand and pat him on the back and say, nice job. You really gave it all you got. And you just went fair and square. Nice job.
Okay.
I'm Donald, and he might stay to see who won. And he would say good job to his dogs.
Okay. What about you, Ryan? How do you think the character Billy in the story would have reacted if he lost the hunt, gave it his best, somebody else won? How would he react?
I'm Ryan, and I think that he would be happy for the guy, even though Billy didn't win. He'd say, even though you got more coons than me, we both did a good job. We both still did pretty great. And he would go congratulate him and his dogs, and then he'd go congratulate his dogs too.
My name's Owen, and the same thing as the group saying, like, he wouldn't be the one to, like, go off and pout. He would just tell everybody good job.
Okay. So my final thing, you guys can go on back to your seat. So my final question, I'm going to open it up to the whole class, and I'm just going to have one or two of you come on back. This is the final question I have. One or two of you, you'll raise your hand, and I'll call you, and one or two, sit down first. One or two of you will come on back and help me answer this one. It has to do with the scene of the big tree. And here's my question for you. So in the book, there's a scene where Billy makes a promise with his dogs. It was their very first hunt, and the promise he makes with his dogs is, if you put one up in the tree, I'll do the rest. And that means that Billy has to chop the tree down once the coons are in the tree. And it turns out that the very first time he takes them hunting, the raccoons are in a gigantic tree, not a normal tree, the biggest tree in the whole forest, gigantic tree. Okay, and then Billy's put to the task of cutting it down. So here's my question. Billy's grandpa comes down after Billy has been working on this for a while. His hands are raw and bloody, okay, but he's determined. He's not going to give up. And his grandpa says to Billy something that's kind of interesting. And I'm just wondering what you think his grandpa means about this. His grandpa says, you know, Billy, I think every boy should have a tree like this to cut down in their life. What does he mean by that? Does Grandpa actually mean that everybody should go cut down a tree? Is that what he means? So who? Okay, so Kayla, come on back. Jalen, come on back. Jonathan, come on back. Okay, all of you with your hands up there, come on back. And we're just going to go around the table. You'll say your name, and then say, what do you think that means? And what you think might be the same as what somebody else at the table thinks, and that's really okay, because then we can see, you know, that you're kind of agreeing with each other's thoughts without even having a conversation about it. Okay, so I'm going to move this kind of to the middle, and go ahead and start right here, Kayla. So even though I just said your name, go ahead and say your name, and then tell me what you think. What do you think Grandpa meant by that?
I'm Kayla, and I think he meant that in your life you're always going to have at least one thing hard to do.
Okay, so he says, I think it would be nice for every boy to have a tree like this to cut down. Okay, so what do you think he meant?
I'm Jalen, and I think that he probably meant that when he said that every boy should have a tree like this to cut down in his life, he probably meant that every kid or every boy should have something hard like that to overcome, and that it makes them stronger as a person.
Okay. How about you? Say your name.
I'm Jonathan, and I agree with Jalen. I think that every boy or kid or whatever he said should have to go through something to like build up their endurance, or just know what it feels like, to see what it's like to go through something like that.
Okay, good. What do you
My-
think? Yeah.
My name is Eli. I think that the tree it's a challenge, like a big challenge that every kid needs to go through to be a better person and become a better person.
My name's Connor, and I think Grandpa's trying to say every person should have to go through one big challenge in life to overcome it and succeed.
I'm Ryan, and I agree with what Kayla said, that every kid has to go through something hard, and they have to do that so they can build up their confidence, because then even little people can do big things. So, yeah.
I think.
Name.
I'm Olivia, and I think that Billy's grandpa was saying that what he meant by every boy should cut down a big tree like this. He meant that every boy or girl should go through a challenge in life, and to go through it, to overcome it, and finish it strong.
Good. Okay, so that's the end of this podcast about Where the Red Fern Grows. We hope that now you have a better understanding of what our opinions are of the difference between the book and the movie, and some insights that we got from the movie. Thank you for listening.